I know that David Ornstein broke the story for The Athletic today, and there's been multiple reports then from people in Boston side of it, from people in Europe, from people from the UK, and it seems to be that they're open to selling either a percentage of the club or an outright sale. Now, my own gut feeling is that they'll go for the outright sale, they'll go for a clean break, and they'll make a shit ton of cash. And I've never had any issues with FSG making a load of money when they sell up, because that was their business model, that was their plan, and I've always been okay with that. For all the things that I pull FSG up on, and there has been many, their sale price at the end is their own business as far as I'm concerned. So who's going to buy the club? How much is it valued at? And when may we see a sale taking place? Well, I'm going to try and cover that over the next 90 minutes or so, but I want your help on it as always. I want to know your thoughts on the situation. I want to know who you think may come in to buy the club. There's been loads of people reported today to have an interest, and of course I will go through those names in more detail as well. But do hit that follow button for me if you are new to the channel. And again, I want to know your thoughts on the entire situation, because today's one of those days where I think I'll remember where I was. It's one of those days that, as a Liverpool fan, stands out for me, along with the day Hicks and Gillette sold the club, along with the day we seen Virgil van Dijk holding up that Liverpool shirt, along with the day that we heard that Jurgen Klopp was going to be Liverpool's manager. Today, for me, is one of those days that I've been trying to take in and process and remember, because it's a big, big day in the future of this football club for two reasons. For the sale, and because it brings Jude Bellingham that little bit closer. Let's talk about who can buy the club, who's interested in the club, and what this means. The Anfield Talk put up a post saying Sheikh Khaled bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Al Nahyan, excuse my pronunciation, made a bid for Liverpool in 2018, and his value, according to TalkSport, is apparently 830 billion. So maybe he's still interested, I don't know. You've got David Ornstein, who broke this story, and don't make any bones about it. I've seen other people try to claim it. David Ornstein broke this story. It's his story. He said Liverpool have been put up for sale by Fenway Sports Group. A sale deck, which basically means a promotional pack. But a sale deck has been produced for interested parties. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are assisting in the evaluation process. David Ornstein goes on to say it's unclear if this gets done, but FSG are inviting offers. There's another train of thought on this, that maybe FSG have seen the sheer volume of money that Chelsea went for when Todd Bowley stepped in to buy them, and maybe they feel that now is the right time to just cash in and take that shed load of cash and move on. James Pearce also tweeted about this, saying that the spirit of Shankly on the potential sale of LFC, we expect both the supporters board and the spirit of Shankly to be engaged in some part of the process so that supporters are front and centre of any sale and at the first thoughts of every prospective owner, or of any prospective owner. Then there's talk about the Anfield Talk again, saying sources have said that the collapse of plans for a breakaway Super League in 2021 and the £4.25 billion sale of Chelsea in May have both been significant factors in FSG's decision to test the market in interest for Liverpool, and they credit Mark Ogden. Let me ask you two questions. Who do you want to buy the football club? And two, do you have any moral quandaries about prospective owners? Because I have to say, I do. Ideally, I would like somebody like Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And I know he's a Manchester United fan, and I know that he's been linked with us. I have this horrible gut feeling that his link to us is to try and flush out the Glazers to sell. That's my own instinct, not based off anything factual whatsoever. But his name has been thrown around. He's the UK's richest man, I believe. So he would certainly have the funds available to buy a football club the size of Liverpool. You are probably talking an offer in excess of £3.54 billion, maybe even more, for Liverpool Football Club. So they'll make a lot of money for the old 300 million or whatever it was they spent to buy the club. And in fact, they've already gotten that back. When they sold 11% to Red Ball or Red Bird Acquisitions, I think they got in $650 million, so about 500 something million pounds. So they'll have already gotten their initial stake back. Oil money, yes and no. And why? The answer is yes. For me, I'm against clubs being owned by stake-backed funds. In general, I just don't like the idea of it because it makes it uncompetitive. Again, I'll try to explain. So let's say somebody with a value of £100 billion wants to buy Liverpool Football Club. That's a really, 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 really rich person or group. If you take that 100 billion and put it against the wealth of a country, it's nothing. You can't compete against state-backed funds. So I don't feel that they're fair in the industry. I don't like them because I don't think that they have to operate as a competitive business. They are just a PR exercise for the country in question to sports wash and to show their country in a more positive light on the world stage and to try and gain legitimacy from it. So I don't know if we will or won't get a state-backed entity to come and buy the club, but my preference would be no. Of course I want Klopp to have money to spend. Of course I want Liverpool to be competitive. Do we really want football to just be about who has the most money these days? I can't say I do. I really can't. And I know that there are going to be people watching that goes, mate, you're living in a Premier League bubble. You know, you already don't understand the struggles of a League One or a League Two club or a non-league club. And I get that. I get that we are fortunate to be supporting a club that's at the top end of the food chain. But I still want football to have some level of morality to it. So if it's an Elon Musk, which it won't be, or a Jim Radcliffe or somebody like that, I'd feel far more at ease than somebody like that over a state-backed fund. That's my honest feelings on it. I feel FSG are ready to sell. I feel like they've probably got to a point where they feel like the squad needs huge investment in it. They don't feel like the landscape of football is fair, I'm sure, because when they bought the club, they bought it on the proviso that FFP was going to be enforced, and they thought that with their statistically driven model and the intelligence of the people that they put in positions of power at Liverpool, that they could be the smartest guys in the room. It turns out that the smartest guys in the room aren't always the winners in football. Sometimes it's the guys with the deepest pockets. So to me, this feels like FSG are going to sell. To me, it does feel like they're going to sell. Klopp with money would destroy competition, said Salah the GOAT. John W. Henry's newspaper said that FSG want a full sale. It's the Boston Globe, if I'm not mistaken. Callum, I think, is that the one he owns? Right, so this is from the Boston Globe, actually. It says, from Mike Silverman, Fenway Sports Group is trying to gauge if it's better to attract new investors in its Liverpool Football Club or simply sell it. And that's according to a source with direct knowledge of the situation, as I said, via the Boston Globe. To me, this feels like they're selling. They don't seem like they're going to want to be minority shareholders to me. So if they were to sell, let's say 50% of the club or 51% of the club, I don't see them being silent partners in it. For me, I feel like somebody's going to come out of the woodwork that's going to make them an offer and they're going to want full control of the club. And I think it gets done. I don't have a time scale, of course. We're all trying to process this news today. But for me, I think this is the time. I think, honestly, they've looked at it and they just think, what else can we do here? We can't probably add more value to the current ownership model that they have, you know, so probably time to hand over the reins to somebody who will take Liverpool on to that next level. At least that's what we all hope for. J.K. Worth said, surely Radcliffe would have an interest considering his attempt on United and Chelsea, but anyone would accept an owner that backs Klopp because that would bring us results. If Klopp had Pep's backing, we would compete more consistently. See, that's the other side of it. My own hypocrisy will start to come out in, because you're right. You're absolutely right. Whoever comes in to buy the club, we want them to back Klopp. And if that person comes in and starts backing Klopp, let's say with Todd Bowley, came into Chelsea, and we knew straight away he was willing to spend money. He spoke about it, guaranteeing it when he actually, I think it was part of the contract when he signed to buy the club, that there was this guarantee that X amount of money would be made available for a sale or for player acquisitions. So I feel like a new owner is going to want to come in and hit the ground running.